South Korea's suspended President Yoon Suk-yeol making his second appearance at the Constitutional Court to attend a hearing for his trial for impeachment. Former Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun also taking the stand to testify. He was arrested last month. This was the first in-person meeting for the two men after the imposition early December, late on the 3rd of December of a state of martial law that lasted just hours. The former defense minister testified that he drafted the contentious decree that prohibited political parties from convening to vote it down. Lawmakers, particularly from the opposition Democratic Party, have accused Yoon and his aides of trying to stop lawmakers from entering the National Assembly. Mr. Kim denied receiving orders from Mr. Yoon to detain opposition lawmakers and leaders. He maintained that Mr. Yoon thought consistently of the country, the people, and their livelihoods. According to Mr. Kim, Mr. Yoon had only imposed martial law under duress. The Constitutional Court must reach a verdict by the 11th of June. Now, if it rules against Mr. Yoon, he will be removed from office and elections have to be held within 60 days. Also today, anti-corruption officials handed the case over to prosecutors. The Corruption Investigation Office have been probing charges of insurrection and abuse of power against Mr. Yoon. But it does not have the authority to prosecute the president. The Supreme Prosecutor's Office has not commented on whether it will accept the case.
기소 여부를 결정해야 하는 검찰이 그동안의 수사 자료를 종합하고 필요한 사항에 대해 추가 수사를 하는 것이 사건의 진상 규명을 위해 효율적이라고 판단하여 금일 공소 제기 요구 결정을 하기에 이른 것입니다.
CNA's Grace Shin breaks down what awaits Mr. Yoon if prosecutors take over his arrest warrant.
Whether the Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials has the legal authority to be probing a sitting president, especially over grave charges like insurrection, has remained a key question of debate in South Korea's ongoing political crisis. After Yoon defied the CIO's repeated requests to appear for questioning, the agency obtained a warrant to detain Yoon from the Seoul Western District Court. It was on January 15th, marking their second attempt, that the CIO was able to take Yoon into custody, and the CIO questioned Yoon for over 10 hours that day, but claiming the CIO does not have the legal authority to investigate insurrection charges and that their arrest was unlawful. Yoon refused to give any statements, and since then, the CIO requested their arrest warrant be extended. They requested Yoon to appear for questioning 5 times. They even tried to detain him forcibly on 3 occasions, all of which attempts actually fell short. And this drew criticism that the anti-probe agency was wasting the window of opportunity while Yoon was in custody, which is why the CIO earlier today announced to hand the case over to the prosecution 5 days earlier than their original plan. They were planning to split the extra 20 days they bought from the court into half, so 10 days for more investigation before filing the case over to prosecutors to indict Yoon on insurrection and abuse of power charges. But citing efficiency, CIO investigators have determined that it's better for prosecutors who by law have the legal authority to indict to take over now. And the CIO has hinted that prosecutors may ask the court to extend Mr. Yoon's detention period for another 10 days before formally charging him. And eyes are on whether President Yoon may show a contrasting reaction towards the prosecution compared to the CIO for 2 reasons. One, the prosecution also stands as Mr. Yoon's home ground. He has served 26 years in the prosecution and even as prosecutor general, which is why some experts believe that he may show a bit more of a favorable attitude towards them compared to the CIO. 2, legal experts have voiced there may be more cons than pros if Yoon refuses to cooperate, though there is a chance that Yoon might cite the need to focus more on the ongoing impeachment trial at the Constitutional Court. This might work against him, given that the prosecutors have the power to indict. And Yoon's refusal to cooperate could disadvantage him in future trials. And the prosecution had summoned President Yoon 2 times before, which the suspended leader had ignored, but he made clear that he won't evade responsibility.